A different perspective is the only kind we know. Go to Bermuda.com.
Tonight, several breaking stories as we come on. President Trump canceling the summit with North Korea, his bombshell letter to Kim Jong-un, the whiplash as negotiations deteriorated, what the president told our John Carl when asked if this increases the risk of war, and the new pictures just coming in showing North Korea claiming to have blown up their nuclear test site before the summit talks collapsed. Also breaking tonight, sources say Harvey Weinstein will surrender to the NYPD. The disgraced movie mogul set to face charges as Oscar winner Gwyneth Paltrow details how Brad Pitt came to her defense after she was allegedly attacked by Weinstein. The new weather headline, the tropical storm threat hitting this holiday weekend. A massive rainmaker set to swamp millions. The street racing horror, a young mother pushing a stroller, struck and killed, and 3 suspects now facing charges. And don't ask Alexa, the family who says a private conversation was recorded and shared with a random contact, what Amazon just told us.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
And good evening, and thanks for joining us on a very busy Thursday night. I'm Tom Yamas, in for David, and we begin with those major developments on North Korea and our new reporting. President Trump calling off the summit on its nuclear program, citing North Korea's, quote, tremendous anger and open hostility. It came just hours after North Korea invited journalists to witness what they say was the planned destruction of their nuclear testing site, these images just coming in. And on both sides, tough talk. President Trump reminding North Korea today of America's overwhelming nuclear might. So tonight, the question of today's developments, do they increase the risk of war? ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl with the president's answer.
President Trump warned ominously the collapse of the summit is bad news for the entire world.
I believe that this is a tremendous setback for North Korea and indeed a setback for the world.
The president pulled out in a wistful letter to Kim Jong-un, addressing the North Korean dictator as His Excellency, writing, "Dear Mr. Chairman, we greatly appreciate your time, patience, and effort." But he wrote, "Due to North Korea's tremendous anger and open hostility, I feel it is inappropriate at this time to have this long-planned meeting." He also issued a dark warning. "You talk about your nuclear capabilities, but ours are so massive and powerful that I pray to God they will never have to be used."
I've spoken to General Mattis and the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and our military, which is by far the most powerful anywhere in the world, is ready if necessary.
I asked the president if that could mean war.
Mr. President, does the breakdown of this summit raise the risk of war with North Korea?
Well, we'll see what happens.
The breakdown comes after a mind-boggling thaw in U.S.-North Korean relations, including 2 meetings between Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Kim Jong-un, and the release of 3 American prisoners. The president even relished talk of a Nobel Peace Prize.
Do you deserve the Nobel Prize, do you think?
Everyone thinks so, but I would never say it.
But North Korea expressed revulsion at demands by U.S. officials that they give up their entire nuclear program before getting anything in return. President Trump tried to show some flexibility on that.
I don't think I want to totally commit myself, but all in one would be a lot better.
But after Vice President Pence suggested dire consequences if Kim doesn't give up his nukes, North Korea lashed out, calling Pence a, quote, political dummy. But in his letter, President Trump told Kim, quote, "I felt a wonderful dialogue was building up between you and me."
You said you had a wonderful dialogue with Kim Jong-un.
A wonderful dialogue. We have a wonderful, there's been a very good working relationship.
Today, North Korea made another overture, blowing up a nuclear test site in the presence of Western journalists. And the president is still holding out hope, writing to Kim, "If you change your mind, please do not hesitate to call me or write."
Do you expect him to call you, Mr. President? Do you expect him to call you?
John Carl joins us now from the White House. And John, you were in the room there when President Trump announced the June 12th summit was off, but he later told the world not to be anxious, saying it might happen on that date after all. Is that still realistic?
No, that's not going to happen, Tom. White House officials made that clear after the president spoke. But there is no doubt the president would like to see this summit get back on track at some point, but it won't be on June 12th.
Jonathan Karl starting us off tonight. John, thank you. Next to that other major story we're following, breaking news about Harvey Weinstein. Sources tell ABC News he will turn himself in to New York City police tomorrow to face criminal charges related to alleged sexual assault. A stunning fall 7 months after those first reports that unleashed a flood of accusations and sparked a movement. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Former Hollywood heavyweight turned poster child for the Me Too movement, Harvey Weinstein will turn himself in tomorrow and face criminal charges. Weinstein has been under investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office for months, stemming from accusations of sexual misconduct by actresses Lucia Evans and Paz de la Huerta. Evans says in 2004, Weinstein forced her to perform a sexual act on him, and de la Huerta says Weinstein raped her in 2010. They are just two of the roughly 80 women who've accused the former film producer of rape, sexual assault, or harassment. Actress Gwyneth Paltrow, who is not part of the criminal complaint against Weinstein, but has alleged he made a pass at her, detailed in an interview with Howard Stern that her then-boyfriend Brad Pitt threatened Weinstein over the incident.
It was like the equivalent of throwing him against the wall. He said, if you ever make her feel uncomfortable again, I'll kill you. Or something like that.
These would be the first criminal charges against Weinstein. He's also under investigation in L.A., the UK, and by federal prosecutors in this country. Weinstein has said all along that he has not had non-consensual sex with anyone. His defense attorney declined to comment today.
And Lindsay Davis joins us now. Lindsay, Harvey Weinstein is expected to appear in court tomorrow, and that's when we'll learn the exact charges.
Yes, Tom, we won't know what the charges are until he appears before the judge tomorrow. But we already know that at least one of the accusations against him is rape, which could, of course, carry a significant amount of jail time. Tom.
Lindsay Davis for us tonight. Lindsay, thank you. And another headline out of Hollywood tonight, this time involving allegations against Morgan Freeman. The Oscar winner today apologizing to anyone who may have felt, quote, uncomfortable or disrespected by his behavior. This comes after CNN reported that 8 women claim he sexually harassed them on movie sets or in other professional settings. We do move on now to the next tropical storm threat this holiday weekend, the massive rainmaker that could become the first named storm of the hurricane season. Parts of the South already underwater, flash flooding here in Little Rock, Arkansas, and this raging creek, take a look in western Georgia after a foot of rain. And tonight, the forecast on how many hurricanes we can expect to see. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking it all. And Rob, we're starting strong.
We are. It's not even hurricane season officially. This cluster of thunderstorms, you see it now off the coast of Cancun, a 90% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone here, likely over the weekend as it gets into the Gulf of Mexico. More tranquil conditions there will wind it up. Some heavy rain expected, unlikely to be a hurricane, something hybrid-y, but definitely a lot of rain, over 5 inches likely through the weekend, and then kind of stalling maybe more through midweek and likely some flooding, Tom.
And Rob, we mentioned this earlier. They've released their forecast for this year of hurricanes, and it's going to be a very active season.
Hopefully not as active as last season, but yeah, likely to be more active than usual. Named storms 10 to 16, hurricanes anywhere from 5 to 9, NOAA says, and major hurricanes 1 to 4. Can't say how many of those will impact land, but as we know, it only takes one.
Just an outlook, but you're right. All right, Rob, thanks so much. Next to a horrible incident on a boulevard in Tampa, police say a mother pushing her child in a stroller was struck by 2 cars racing on the street. The mom did not survive, and tonight her little girl is clinging to life. Here's ABC's Victor Oquendo.
Tonight, this toddler, Lilia, just 21 months old, is fighting for her life after she and her mother were struck by a car driven by a teenager who police say was street racing. Lilia's mother, 24-year-old Jessica Reisinger, was killed.
Pedestrian, Bayshore Nights, stroller hit by vehicle.
This was the scene along Tampa's busy Bayshore Boulevard after mom and daughter were hit while crossing the street. Lilia was in her stroller, now mangled. The community is reeling.
We're devastated. It's a tragic crash that didn't need to happen.
In the arrest report, a witness says he saw 2 vehicles racing each other. Police say 18-year-old Cameron Herron was driving this black Mustang with 20-year-old Tristan Herron in the passenger seat, racing alongside 17-year-old John Barano. The drivers, now out on bond, face felony charges, including vehicular homicide and reckless driving. Tonight, a growing memorial at the site of the tragedy. The toddler is in critical condition tonight. A GoFundMe page has been set up for the family. The city of Tampa now lowering the speed limit on the road where the crash happened. Tom?
An incredibly sad story. Victor Oquendo for us tonight. Victor, thank you. Next from Milwaukee, reaction of police body cam video of an NBA player, Sterling Brown, in an incident that escalated from a parking violation. Now police are accused Brown of aggressive behavior. The video showing them taking him down, tasing, and then arresting him. The police chief and the mayor have both apologized. And tonight we hear from Sterling Brown for the first time. ABC's Alex Perez is in Milwaukee.
Taser, taser, taser! Just one day after the release of that disturbing video showing the tasing of Sterling Brown, the Milwaukee Bucks player sitting down for an exclusive interview with Robin Roberts, talking about that moment.
And physically, mentally, being tasered like that, I mean, how did that impact you?
It was a shock, like it came out of nowhere. Like I tensed up instantly. Emotionally, like it just, like, man, I just got tased.
How you doing? You got a driver's license? That confrontation with officers after he illegally parked his car outside a Walgreens.
I asked you to back up and you did not do it.
In the police report, officers claimed Brown became very aggressive, but the video shows him calmly talking to officers when suddenly...
Take your hands out of your pockets now! I got stuff in my hand.
Officers take him down and tase him.
Taser, taser, taser!
Any movement I make, like they still, you know, they got me pinned down, so I couldn't really do nothing. So I'm like, all right, stay calm, try to get out of this situation.
Brown plans to file a lawsuit. The police chief here has condemned the conduct of the officers involved. He says they have been disciplined and he's apologized. Tom?
Alex, thank you. And Robin Roberts will have much more of her exclusive interview with Sterling Brown first thing in the morning on Good Morning America. Next to a series of very unusual meetings in Washington today, focused on President Trump's unsubstantiated claim that the FBI inserted a spy into his campaign. The White House ordering the FBI and the Justice Department to open their classified records to members of Congress. But Democrats are raising concerns that White House officials were in those meetings. ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has more.
Congressman, was there a spy?
Today, congressional leaders and senior members of the White House staff heading to the Justice Department for a classified briefing after President Trump's unsubstantiated claim that the Obama administration planted a spy in his 2016 campaign.
We now call it Spygate.
He says it's starting to look like one of the biggest political scandals in U.S. history, but has provided no proof. The president's accusations triggered by a New York Times report that an FBI informant questioned two Trump campaign advisors about their contacts with Russian operatives. The use of such informants is routine, and the Times never mentioned anything about a spy inside the campaign. Still, the president ordered Justice Department officials to brief Republicans in Congress.
What I'm doing is a service to this country.
When the unusual briefings ended, Republicans disappeared, not saying a word, but from Democrats, this blunt assessment.
Nothing we heard today has changed our view that there is no evidence to support any allegation that the FBI or any intelligence agency placed a spy in the Trump campaign.
And Pierre Thomas joins us now from the Justice Department. And Pierre, some Democrats were very surprised to see White House Chief of Staff John Kelly at those meetings, along with the new White House lawyer handling the Russia investigation.
That's right, Tom. Democrats say it was a sign that the White House was attempting to snoop on and weaken the Mueller probe. Senator Mark Warner just tweeting that the president's aides have, quote, no business showing up to a classified intelligence briefing. Tom?
Pierre Thomas for us. Pierre, thanks so much. And there's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Thursday. The school bus driver charged. The 77-year-old who prosecutors say pulled an illegal U-turn before a crash that killed a student and a teacher. Plus, don't ask Alexa, the Amazon Echo that went rogue, sharing a private conversation, what Amazon has just told us. And the Memorial Day escape is nearly here, millions hitting the roads, the surging gas prices you'll find at the pump, and how you can save. Stay with us.
Alice is living with metastatic breast cancer, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of her body. She's also taking prescription Ibrance with an aromatase inhibitor, which is for postmenopausal women with hormone receptor positive, HER2 negative metastatic breast cancer as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ibrance plus letrozole was significantly